Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button. And if you have any opinions at all that you would like to share, make sure to leave them down in the comment section. BlaQ Chidori, Journey into Mystery Schools, Volume 1. BlaQ Chidori, American rapper, songwriter, artist, multi-featurer on this channel at this point. I've covered pretty much every release from Black Fiction and onwards. If you want to see my thoughts on any of those projects, there will be a link in the corner if you want to check those out. And we're right back here with another release, Journey into Mystery Schools Volume 1, pretty much fully produced by Ayo Shamir, who's actually worked with JR for his most recent album as of recording this video. This EP was actually previously released in March on Bandcamp, but didn't get the universal streaming service treatment until this June, so what better time to review it than now? Let's not waste any more time, let's just dive in. What are my thoughts on Journey into Mystery Schools Volume 1? Let's find out as I review it, track by track. Since there were no singles, we will just start at the top of the track list, with that being the pseudo-title track Journey into Mystery, which honestly has one of the cleanest mixing jobs I can recall on any BlaQ Chidori project. I don't really bring up mixing in my reviews because it doesn't bother me too much typically, and a lot of my peers who I've actually tried to show BlaQ Chidori to often harshly critique it, even to the point of outright rejecting the music solely because of it. Here though, I've got to give credit where credit is due. It's so clean and plays to Black's charisma very well. This beat's also pretty solid too, split into two parts. The first half is a bit more pleasant, chill, breezy to an extent, mostly playing on ambient background noise with the typical soul sample. But the second half is where the banging beat comes in. Crackly hi-hat, pounding bass, and this wavering ethereal synth melody. Amazing opening track. Hydroman / World Tree is another great track. This beat goes so hard. The oscillating synth melody, snappy snare, and the muted bass manage to balance the line perfectly between the banger and the smoother side of Black's music. And it works for Black's delivery so well, just another effortless performance. I also like when the more melodic side of the beat dies down for the final minute of the tune, leaving in its place a more eerie and stripped back beat that may not suit Black as well, but it's not a staggering or off-putting change at all. Kinda goes to show that Shamir knows how to play to Black's style better than really any producer has up to this point. An amazing song. Eternals is this brief spoken word interlude over pulsating bass and hidden synthetic waves, basically just talking about the birthplace of philosophy, mortals beginning to question the universe, why we're here, what everything's made out of, and how those questions form new questions that some of society today is still trying to grapple with and understand. It's a solid addition to the track list, but y'all know me with interludes, I'm just not going to keep it around. Lucid Dreaming is one of the most traditional BlaQ Chidori cuts on the EP, and again, it's pretty solid, mostly dominated by the soul singer sample with some luscious strings, leaving Black as the centerpiece over this typical drumless hip-hop beat. Only a murmur of bass to really be heard. Black definitely stands out here too with a fiery cadence and some very solid bars. There's also some retrospective dialogue at the end of the track relating to lucid dreams and how they work, which I get, but personally I just skip over it more often than not. However, the track as a whole is still pretty good. Whosoever Holds has the same premise as Eternals. It's another spoken word passage, but at least with this one it's got much better mixing and you can actually make out what the narrator is talking about. Speaking of that, it is a continuation and expansion of the themes on Eternals, a much more gripping delivery too, especially with the echoed effect causing the narrator to feel strangely omnipotent and all-knowing in a way. However, same case with Eternals, it does its job in the track list, but I'm not really going to return to it. And finally, the closer, Feral Rage, is a solid track, but out of the core musical pieces here, it's probably my least favorite. Which, by the way, BlaQ Chidori is none of the reason why that's the case. In fact, I'd say it's one of his most cutthroat deliveries on the EP. It's kind of the beat that doesn't really click with me. I like the bass and the percussion well enough, but the piano is extremely high-pitched and forward in the mix, as is this prolonged, shrill, squealing synth. Both of these elements are just so distracting, and not really in a good way. It almost makes me want to just outright reject the track. As I mentioned though, Black's performance is amazing, and it saves the track from being uncomfortably difficult to listen to. Overall, this is another damn solid BlaQ Chidori EP. Tight flows, engaging performances, some nice in-depth bars, a lot of what you'd expect from BlaQ Chidori. However, this one's a bit unique as it has some amazing high points, such as most of the production. Ayo Shamir really seems to understand BlaQ's style and creates beats well enough. However, there are also some lows here, like the lesser side of the production. Plus, I'll be honest, the spoken word interludes, I don't think they needed to be here. Typically for interludes, you'd want them to space out a longer project. Here, with less tracks, even though there's only 2 of them, it just feels like too much of the runtime is filled up with them. As a whole, though, it all still rounds out to a great project. I'm feeling a 7 out of 10 on this EP. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!